They're handing the keys over to Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, better than both, and it's about time Kevin Stefanski kind of figured it out. Here's the sad part about it. We make these decisions quickly on quarterbacks. We're telling you right now, this moment, Shedeur Sanders is better than Tom Brady. What has Shedeur Sanders proven? We said it before anybody, while everybody was bitching, whining, and moaning. We said, free Shedeur Sanders. Free Shedeur. I mean, I'm watching who? Joe Flacco? Get out of here. Dylan Gabriel? Get out of here. Shedeur Sanders, better than both, and it's about time Kevin Stefanski kind of figured it out. Enough of this chaos, enough of this mayhem, enough of this nonsense. Give the ball to the guy. If he's not the guy, he's not the guy. Doesn't matter. They're handing the keys over to Shedeur Sanders. And what? See, this is what happens on our show. People bitch, whine, and moan at me because I'm always ahead. I don't have a life, so I'm always thinking about things in sports on this show or arguing with people on Twitter. And then you bitch, whine, and moan. And then you come back and go, hey, Dakich, I hate to agree with Dakich, but Dakich was right. Well, no shit, Sherlock, a saying that white folks say. Anyway, we have a bell at my other show. If you say a white folk only saying, we ring a bell. Ding. Like yesterday, it was malarkey. Think about that for a second. Is Donald Trump still speaking? I think he is. Anyway, they're handing the keys. I love it. Let's take a little look. Let's take a little look-see here. A little peek into why and how, and let's compare. First three starts. Tom Brady, 543 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 72.4. That's right. We're telling you right now, this moment, Shedeur Sanders is better than Tom Brady. That's right. Brady's never seen the day he's as good as Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders. 723, 5 touchdowns, only 2 picks, 92.8 through 3 career starts. I don't know. Of course, I'm being facetious. We'll see whether or not Shedeur Sanders is better than Tom Brady. When Tom Brady started these 3 starts, he didn't pass as much. I don't even care. It's a ludicrous comparison, but I love it. And good for polymarket football. Polymark football is something I like. I like to go to. But look, there you go. There it is, right there for you. He's better than Brady, damn it. And I told you. Look, one of the things that we like to do here is self-promote and say, we told you. We ain't afraid to do that. I told you. We're going to play Joe Flacco, Phillip Rivers. Come on. Dylan Gabriel, stop it. Hey, he made history. Look at this. Shedeur Sanders. First Browns quarterback with 300-plus passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing TD in the same game, probably in the same year. I don't know. Anyway, since 1950. Here's our boys, Anthony Lima and Ken Carman from 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland discussing Shedeur Sanders.
But I got 4 games left in this season. I'm thinking there's a lot of pressure on this to figure out what's going to happen with the future. What's going to happen with Kevin? What's going to happen with Andrew? But most importantly, what's going to happen with the quarterback? What's going to happen with Shedeur? What's going to happen with him? Because I just want to show everybody, guys, I'm open-minded. I'm open-minded. I liked him coming out. I didn't think he should have been a 5th-round draft pick for crying out loud.
You and I were in agreement on that.
I wasn't crying like Mel Kiper Jr. for crying out loud, but I didn't think he should have been a 5th-round draft pick. I thought it was silly that he fell to Saturday. I was excited that we got him. I'll never forget the day at Flying Monkey.
We had some fun that day.
But now that we have him and that he's grown, he's growing, and he's climbing the pocket. He's starting to look off certain people. Yeah, I understand in the end zone, he took the tougher of the 2 throws because he did have Harold Fannin. I expect him, though, to see that on tape and fix that.
Mm-hmm. Could be quick, very quick later.
He's growing quickly. And if he's able to grow this quickly, then I find myself excited for these 4 games to see what can he do. Because to me, as a Browns fan here long term, it's no harm, no foul. I hate to be this way with a guy's career. If he goes out and he shows that he can do it over the next 4 games, let's talk turkey here.
Yeah.
Let's talk big stuff.
I'm open.
But if he doesn't show it over the next 4 games, well, that's why you stockpiled these 2 draft picks for. Mm-hmm. So I have to look at it pragmatically from long-term view and right here.
Nothing wrong with that, Kenny Carmen. No, you're right. And here's the sad part about it. Him being right illustrates what's going on in the NFL, which is, boy, oh boy, do we make these decisions quickly on quarterbacks. You know, you got draft choice. You feel like you got to get a quarterback. Boy, isn't it amazing how quickly, like here in Indianapolis, I get it. Anthony Richardson's hurt. And we went, for whatever the reason, signed Phillip Rivers. But people are discounting Anthony Richardson out forever. I mean, even though we just saw Daniel Jones resurrect his career here. No, Kenny's right. And he is absolutely illustrating the point that, well, there is no more, I don't think, Aaron Rodgers sitting behind waiting his turn. I don't know. That's a sad deal. Let's go to Skip Bayless. What is wrong with him? Skip Bayless wants Kevin Stefanski fired. I don't even know why Skip Bayless is still a thing. Here he is.
I'm going to say it again. Kevin Stefanski must be fired. I'm going to say it again and again and again. Kevin Stefanski did not want Shedeur Sanders, didn't even want him in the 5th round. Kevin Stefanski has done everything in his power to keep Shedeur Sanders from succeeding in Cleveland as a 5th round pick against all odds. Even yanking Shedeur again for the potential tying 2-point conversion, going with the Wildcat. It was a disaster after Shedeur had shown again and again he's the answer in the red zone for the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders just played by far his best game as a pro. He just threw for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns and led the Browns in rushing and scored a rushing touchdown from 7 yards. Clutch, clutch, clutch. Just led an 80-yard drive in 7 plays to put them within striking distance, 31-29. Tying 2-point conversion after he had just thrown a short touchdown pass, a beautiful fade rainbow to the rookie Fannin to get the score to 31-23. He just showed you again and again what he can do. He's who Cleveland has been looking for, as he said before his first start in Las Vegas. And Kevin Stefanski did it again. Kevin Stefanski just cost the Browns a tie, maybe an overtime. I don't know. The way Shedeur was operating, they surely would have won the game somehow, some way, because that's what Shedeur does.
Well, he was 13-12 in college, so there's no evidence to him being that's what he does. Honest to God, I love old man, which I am, unhinged rants. Here's Mark Schlereth discussing Skip Bayless.
Skip, my brother, with all due respect, and I'll say it again, with all due respect, when it comes to your football opinion, I take it with a grain of salt. All right, number one, let me educate you. Kevin Stefanski gave up play calling duties during the bye week to Tommy Rees, so that wasn't a Kevin Stefanski call on the 2-point conversion. That was a Tommy Rees call. Now, Kevin should have overruled it. I get it. It should never have been called. Shedeur made some unbelievable plays in that game. Got a touchdown pass to Jerry Jeudy, was incredible on the man-to-man coverage. A couple of throws in the end zone. Absolute dime pieces. There is no coverage for the perfect throw, and he made several of those during the course of that game. And he scrambled around and created, opportunities for his offense in avoiding sacks and doing all that stuff. So it was incredible. All that being said, the 2-point conversion play was horrible. I get that, but it wasn't a Kevin Stefanski call. All right, and maybe I'm splitting hairs, but when it comes to your football opinion, this is the issue I have. You thought Johnny Manziel was going to be a superstar. You were on record saying he was going to change the league. You thought that Tim Tebow was going to change the league. You thought he was the answer at quarterback. So when it comes to your quarterbacking opinions and your football opinions, I'm out. Like, no thank you, because they have proven over the course of time to be ridiculous.
Well, I think everybody knew that, but I will say this. I love Mark Schlereth, but he kind of sort of made the point when he's saying, well, it's a Tommy Rees call. Well, hey, look, you're the head coach. This isn't Marcus Freeman hiding out. I mean, you're on the field. You make the call, man, because you're the one, well, there goes on this side of your win-loss column or on that side of your win-loss column. If you don't like Skip Bayless, fine, but you got to come a little stronger than that. I mean, Johnny Manziel was 30 years ago. I mean, damn. Well, maybe not 30 years ago, but you get the point. I mean, come on. We all give a lot of takes. Some are right and some are wrong. Skip Bayless is wrong just simply as a human being for wanting somebody fired, and I guarantee he's compromised because he and Daddy are close, so don't at me. The worst take, though, comes from the biggest idiot. America's idiot, the mumbler, stumbler, the asexual, the guy who suddenly kind of, sort of, when he was accused, or I guess, of being thought of as being gay, shared a leaked sex tape after, I don't know what he did with women all over the place at ESPN, but he's had numerous alleged charges or alleged, I don't know what the right word is. I sometimes lose words. The great Shannon Sharpe, America's grabby guy, America's moron, had thoughts. Here's this idiot's thoughts.
So it looks like what they're trying to do, based on some of the things that we've seen, some of the things that we've heard come out of that locker room or that organization in general, they still don't think the person that is at the helm right now is the answer. They don't.
Yeah, I mean. And I really hate to feel this way, but a part of me is like, yeah, we're going to let him start the rest of the season. Oh, Bears, Bills, Steelers, Bengals. If I'm Shedeur, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I already showed y'all what I can do. Put Dylan in there.
Bobby the boo. What? Do what? Do what, you mumbling idiot? What? I'm good? I'm not going to play? Look, this mumbling, stumbling dumbass saying that a 20-something-year-old kid trying to prove his way in the NFL, what has Shedeur Sanders proven? Honest to God, it takes guys years to prove something. Hell, think about this. My favorite player, Lamar Jackson. Hey, he went 2 MVPs. He's still trying to prove it. Now people are wanting his ass benched. Now people are wanting him done. It is amazing to me that the mumbling, stumbling dumbass, the dumbest human being to ever sit in front of cameras, maybe the most vile human being. Well, it doesn't surprise me that his dumb, mumbling, stumbling, stupid ass would suggest a kid who started a couple games sit out because I've shown y'all what I can do by having one good game. Honest to God, like I don't say this maybe ever because I know the level of douchebag. I mean, take that little Laura Rutledge yesterday. Tough day at the office. Why? Because Daniel Jones didn't bow down to you? I don't say this ever. But that dude, that Shannon Sharpe, makes it embarrassing to be in the same industry. I get it. These folks, 90% are dumbasses. But that dumbass makes you embarrassed to say, hey, man, are you in the same industry as this idiot Shannon Sharpe? Are you? Really? I don't know. Are you? Huh? What? Jesus. Hey, before I move it along, Davey, am I wrong on Shannon Sharpe? Is he on to something here, Davey or Sean? Or am I just missing something here in this utter stupidity?
No, Dan, you're not missing anything. The fact he's basically calling for Shedeur to boycott, and the games he listed, they're not even that difficult of defenses he's actually having to play against. So I was sitting there looking at it, I was like, you're calling out those 4 games. It's like, if anything, this is an opportunity for him to go out and show he's got the talent. He's got it. Here's my question to you, Dan, because this is going to be the conversation all off season, which we might have an answer by the end of these next 4 games. Will Shedeur Sanders be Cleveland's starter for Week 1 of 2026?
Yes, absolutely. I've seen enough of him to know he will absolutely be the starter. And if it comes down to whether they're going to keep him or Kevin Stefanski, they're going to keep him. Now, hold on. Ask me this in 2 weeks, and I may have a different answer. But I'm if that schism, like people are suggesting, and sometimes people get these things right, they get leaks, that if there's a schism between Stefanski and Shedeur plays well enough, Stefanski's going to be out. I mean, they've been looking for a quarterback, and frankly, if he is it, you're not worried about keeping some head coach that the quarterback doesn't like. I mean, we've seen this going back to Magic Johnson getting his coach, Paul Westhead, fired with the Lakers. So I think he's going to be. I think he's good enough. I think it'll be like any other quarterback. Started out great, probably put up some numbers for some years. And then, you know what? God bless him. Right off into the sunset when they don't win. But yes, I do. Do you?
Right now, I would say yes. My thing is we still don't know who's going to have the number 1 overall pick. With the Titans beating the Browns, that actually puts Cleveland in a better spot if, the Titans, Saints, and Giants are all kind of vying for that number 1 spot. But Cleveland's got 2 first-round picks after the trade with Travis to trade back for Jacksonville with Hunter last draft. So depending how all that shakes out, and they like that quarterback class, but I could definitely.
Well, that's not an answer. That's not an answer.
I was getting.
You asked me an answer, and you asked me a question. I gave you an answer. Next thing you know, I fell asleep.
It's called a setup
with all this nonsense.
I'm giving you the reasoning behind why I think
we got to move along.
Will stick with Shedeur. We got plenty of time. What are you talking about? We got plenty of time. Shedeur will be the starter just because I don't think it's a good quarterback class.
There you go. There you go. That's all you needed to say. What are you doing? Of course there's extenuating circumstances. No kidding. But you asked me a question. It's right here, pal. It's right here. Will Shedeur, how will he be a quarterback? Of course there's extenuating circumstances. But you asked me a question, so I'm going to ask you a question. You ready?
Go for it.
If Shedeur Sanders is the starting quarterback next year, will Kevin Stefanski be the head coach?
No, he's had 2 bad seasons in a row.
That's right.
He's maxed out what he can do with Cleveland. It's time for them to move on.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If Kevin Stefanski is the head coach, will Shedeur Sanders be the starting quarterback?
Yes, because they're not going to put Andrew Berry's not going to put anybody else on that roster. Because they still got the Deshaun Watson contract. He's going to be on the roster next year. They don't have the money. They would have to play another rookie.
Last question. Does Phillip Rivers lead Indianapolis to a victory against the Legion of Boom or ex-Legion of Boom in the cold, in the rain? He's an old man in Seattle. I'll give you my answer in a word. Oh, hell no. You give me yours.
Yeah, I pretty much. The guy's not played in 5 years. If you remember the scene from Big Daddy where she's like, well, Sid has a plan, a 5-year plan. And Adam Sandler character goes, what is it? Don't die? It's like, yeah, that's basically like a success for Phillip Rivers is if he does see the field, which I don't even think that's going to happen. If he does see the field, just don't die.
Davey, my people are saying, unless something crazy happens, they're bringing him in here to start. That's what unless, they get there. You know how it goes. I always equate it to a beautiful woman, and you can equate it to whatever. If you're a woman, equate it to a guy. Woman looks really good. Hey, let's go on a date. And then the more you see her, the more you talk to her, you're like, yeah, she don't look so good. So they brought him in with the idea to start, but now you got a couple days here. And I've been told the only way he doesn't start, well, number one, Riley Leonard is hurt, they think. And number 2, if he just looks terrible. I don't know, but I don't know, man.
Like Chris Ballard trying to do anything and everything to save his job at this point. I mean, why'd they not give Matt Ryan a call at this point?
Yeah. That's what I said. Why not? Hey, let's go big. Tom Brady. Tom Brady, we saw him at the Super Bowl. He's in great shape. I mean, he does all that stuff, right? Yeah. I mean, bring Eli Manning. Eli Manning, same draft class.
Could be wrong, but I think Peyton and Eli are done with the Manning cast for the year, so just bring them both in.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, damn. I know why they wouldn't, but hey, if you're the Colts, man, imagine that call. You come into the office the next day and you're like, hey, I got an idea, guys. What's your idea, Coach? What's your idea, Ballard? Phillip Rivers. Who? What? His son? What? Phillip what? Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. 12 kids. He probably needs the check, Dan.
He's going to die on the field, and I don't want it to happen. Hey, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Holiday season, best time of the year, bowl games, basketball matchup, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once, and while you and I are out here making big decisions, every single day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, what games to watch, there's only one place where it feels good to be right. Prize Picks. I love how straightforward Prize Picks is. I do. I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to calculate payouts. Prize Picks makes it easy with their payout multipliers, whether it's as simple as 3 times or the big 20 or 2,000 times. Prize Picks makes it easy to understand how much I can win, and I do. Millions of users sign up for America's #1 fantasy sports app every day, including me. That's right. I'm going to Florida. You can use it in Florida. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code DAKICH to get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DAKICH to get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, good to be right. Troy Aikman is done with NIL. Done. And let this be a lesson to those of you that are coaching, those of you that are playing, those of you that are administrating. Listen to why Troy Aikman is done. Aikman appeared on the newest episode of Sports Media with Richard Deitsch, where the conversation opened with Lane Kiffin's move to Ole Miss, from Ole Miss to LSU. After noting he supports players having the opportunity to get paid transfer when a coach leaves, Aikman opened up on his frustrations with the current state of the portal and NIL. Here's Troy Aikman. Here's what he had to say. Now, take note here, coaches, players, mommies, daddies. There's got to be some leadership at the very top that kind of cleans all this up, starting with players that accept money. Got to be some accountability and responsibility on their behalf to have to stick to a program. I gave money to a kid. I won't mention who. Did it one time at UCLA. Never met the young man. He was there a year. He left after a year. I wrote a sizable check, and he went to another school. I didn't even get so much as a thank you note. So it's one of those deals. I'm done with NIL. I want to see UCLA be successful, but I'm done with it. Now, of course, the internet was hard at work. Dante Moore being the quarterback, big time recruit, went to UCLA, transferred to Oregon. My guess is that it's him. But here's the deal. This is what many people have told me that have given in the NIL sphere and have given enough money that they matter. Like you give $10 monthly, it ain't mattering. But you give a bunch. My one buddy gave $20,000 to specifically get a player at his school. He said the exact same thing. Dan, once I gave the money, never heard from a coach on a coaching staff, never even got a thank you note from the player, text, email, nothing, and the kid transferred. Now, that's only $10,000 or $20,000, I think it was, and for a player who's a good player. But here's the bigger issue, and this is what John Calipari said. John on our show said he's getting booster insurance, which is so freaking smart, which would get money back, depending how the policy to be written, which would give money back to Troy Aikman should a player leave. That doesn't piss Aikman off. That doesn't expose his money to a zero-sum gain. And frankly, it might, just might, keep him in the program. No. This is bad business. This is very, very bad business. Somebody does something for you, guess what? You return at least a thank you. Period. I got a bunch of this to do this afternoon, matter of fact, and I'm going to do it. My gift to people that do stuff for me is Omaha Steaks. I like Omaha Steaks. I do. So I figured others do. Kids don't know that. Adults do. So fake a letter. No. Honest to God. Dante Moore. Why am I not surprised? Not that it's Dante Moore. I don't know Dante Moore, but why am I not surprised that it's a quarterback? West Coast. I'm stereotyping. Quarterback, West Coast. Midwest kids wouldn't do that. The hell they wouldn't. I wonder if Mendoza has sent a note to Mark Cuban. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, enjoying the show? Of course you are. Make sure you head on over to youtube.com/@Don'tAtMe with Dan Dakich to like, comment, and subscribe. That way you'll never miss any of our great content. By the way, we got a show tonight, 6 o'clock. Live show. Hey, Sean, do we have a live show tonight, baby?
We're live tonight, Dan, 6 o'clock Eastern.
There you go.
Gonna have a fun time talking about big fat Phillip Rivers winning a bunch of ball games in Indy.
I hope so, because I bet the over 11. I did make a bunch of money on 7.5, which was free money. All right. Woke Time Magazine is back again, this time naming Asia Wilson as Time's Athlete of the Year. Yay, Asia! Over athletes such as Ohtani and Hurts and Judge, Time used it as an opportunity to take shots at Caitlin Clark and how she fostered in toxic racial division. Time Magazine, you just simply suck. Let's go through it. This is Time Magazine. 2024, Caitlin Clark's rookie season helped WNBA hit milestone TV and attendance figures, but Clark's emergence created a toxic, racially divisive narrative that she was almost singularly responsible for salvaging a league whose foundation had been built by mostly black player base. Well, it was going down. Black, white, green, or purple. I mean, the league sucked. The women were unlikable, still are. Awful. Caitlin Clark saved the league. Time doesn't want to say that. That's fine, but you just said it. I don't know. Asia said this. It wasn't a hit to me because I'm going to win the MVP. I'll win a gold medal. Y'all can't shake my resume. Anyway, it was more so let's not lose the recipe. Let's not lose the history. It was erased for a minute, and I don't like that because we have tons of women that have been through the grimiest of grime to get the league where it is today. Well, where you all had the league, Asia, and you can take off all your clothes, you can blow your hair out, you can do whatever, but where the league was shit. Absolute dog shit. And without question, Caitlin Clark enabled you to do things like that. Broaden yourself. No. The women, black or white, I mean, there was, a lot of white women in that league as well. Sucked. Horrible. Lesbians, angry. We saw that. Bullying. The internal structure of the WNBA was rotten to the core, and this, frankly, comes from 3 different people inside the WNBA. No. It was rotten. It was like that tree that you look at and it looks good on the outside and it didn't even look good on the outside. It's rotten on the inside. The lesbianism, the hate, the tribalism, terrible in that league. And Caitlin Clark exposed it all. And boy, oh boy, does that piss off people. Does that piss off people? Some people are reacting, but, you just get immune to the stupidity from Asia Wilson, whose career, yay, Rock, go fight, win, to Time Magazine. I mean, look, you want to make Asia Wilson Time Magazine Athlete of the Year? Good for you, man. But there is absolutely no reason to lie, hide, and maneuver Caitlin Clark's influence. Asia Wilson grew nothing. Tamika Catchings, wonderful woman, grew nothing. Diana Taurasi grew nothing. Brittany Griner embarrassed the league. In fact, all of these women internally that I just mentioned embarrassed the league. Caitlin Clark exposed all of it. Here is a couple of reactions. This is such a disgusting thing to write, painting Caitlin's injury as vindication. They don't really treat her like a human being. Look at that. WNBA provided a measure of vindication. All right. No, they don't treat her like a human. The racism from African-American lesbians is stunning to me. Open. We all knew, and it's not just African-American lesbians. The white lesbians is the most jealous, ridiculous creature on earth. Ask my wife. My wife coached these folk, these white lesbians, to the point where she had to go to our athletic director, Paul Krebs, and says, never again. Never again. And he said, can you win? He goes, I'll win. But I'm not having this bullshit, this hate, this drama, this prejudice, this sexism. No, let's just be real here. Caitlin Clark was and will be the only reason a W started to get this level of attention. Let's not lie. Well, of course. Asia Wilson. I mean, little girls, little Sophie Cunningham takes off her clothes, shakes her ass, and, oh, it's because of you. No, you were smart, Sophie. You went over here and played with freaking Caitlin Clark. Here's our friend. Here's a throwback. Michael Thompson, former first pick father of Clay, on his analogy, Jeep. Here he is. You gave us Jeep. You gave us jealousy, envy, ego, and pettiness, Michael Thompson. And we saw it again Saturday night, whenever the hell it was. You gave us Jeep.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious, and they're still jealous of Caitlin. That's all right. I guess they're getting more used to her now because you see more players or more people sort of promoting her a little bit more now, but it's still there. It's all right. It's okay to be jealous and envious. I'm jealous and envious of Jeff Bezos. I'm jealous of LeBron. I'm jealous of Kobe, the great Kobe Bryant, how great they were, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. I wish I had their talents and their riches and their fame and their good looks. But hey, I didn't have it. I was a pretty good player, but I was jealous of their skills too. So I don't blame some of the ladies.
There you go. Jeep is awesome. No, it's not signed to kind of, sort of. The thing is, and I said this on radio, I'm just tired of the whole thing. Look, I know I live in Indy. Caitlin Clark's a great experience if you take your daughter to a game. I wish my daughter was of that age. We'd have season tickets. But I don't care a word about what Caitlin Clark says, does. I don't care at all what these angry lesbians say or do. Have your season, do your thing, hope you get your money. That's it. But damn. You're like Notre Dame people. You just suck, you angry lesbians of the WNBA. You just absolutely suck. Okay, maybe not suck. You don't get it. Anyway, tonight, Wednesday, here we go. 6 p.m. Eastern. Don't At Me goes live on YouTube. We'll be reacting to your questions and, of course, your takes in real time. It's Don't At Me with me, Dan Dakich, and my guy Sean on the YouTube channel. Looking forward to seeing you all there. One of the questions, Sean, go to right there, and you can join us in the chat. Sean, real quick. Well, we got a little time here, according to Davey. Both of you. Realistically, now, not just throwing things to the wind. Give me one player that realistically you'd like to see come back and play in the NFL that you think could do it Phil Rivers style?
First off my list, Darren Sproles. I think he could come back and convert a couple big-time third downs for teams. I mean, throw it to him in the flat, 3rd and 8. I've seen him get first downs like that before. All these teams that are dinking and dunking to fat tight ends, no thank you. I want the 5'6" Energizer rabbit just going right through, getting first downs. I'd like to see him. I also think Tony G could get a couple touchdowns if he wanted to come back. One of the freakiest athletes I've ever seen in my life. And his season at 36, Dan, compared to Travis Kelce's season at 36, makes that old hag in Kansas City look like he's 50. The guy had 8 touchdowns at 36 and had another 4 at 37. Right. I think he's got it.
There you go. When we come back, Stephen Pearl, son of Bruce, current head coach of the Auburn Tigers. Steve's going to join us next. This was perfect. This was absolutely perfect. Bruce Pearl, the head coach of Auburn, retiring, going and doing what he does really well. Not best. The best thing he does is coaching, but educating America, supporting his faith, and being great on TV. And here is his son, Stephen, who not only earned this job, well, let's put it this way. By his performance, there was no other candidate to be the head coach at Auburn. Hey, everybody says moving over that, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches from assistant to head coach ain't easy, brother. How's it gone so far? And thanks for joining.
Dan, thanks for having me, man. It's been quite an adjustment, but I think one of the things that I had the benefit of is watching him do it for so long. I think it put me in a position to be ready, and fortunately we've had a staff that's been here for a while, and it's made my adjustment and my transition a lot easier. So it's like you said, you don't know until you know, and when you're in that seat, it comes with a lot that you just aren't really prepared for, and then you just got to kind of roll with the punches as you go.
What is the biggest thing that hit you and you're like, all right, this is weird, this is different? Because you were assistant a long time. What was the first thing that hit you to know this old bad boy was different?
I mean, I think the schedule and the exposure are probably the two things. Like when you're in public, everyone knows who you are when you're an assistant coach in a college town, but they don't come up and talk to you. And when you're the head coach, they all want to talk to you. And, and then the schedule on top of that, man, it's like, from the time you get in at 7 to the time you go home, like you're just scheduled throughout the day, whether it's media, whether it's, some sort of community outreach, obviously practice, player meetings. Now you got the whole NIL part of this, this job where you're talking to agents and parents and, you're trying to get ready for next year and you're fundraising, and it's just, it's a whole different beast as far as what the schedule looks like. So those are probably the two things that have kind of stood out the most to me.
Auburn has a brand under your dad, obviously, and what's your difference? What's the biggest difference between you and your father in that program?
Yeah, Dan, that's like been one of the hardest questions for me to answer, because when you look at like basketball wise, like we're very similar as far as like what we do. And I think part of that is because one, I played for him at Tennessee, so I have a pretty good knowledge of what we do. But then two, we've been together for 11 years here at Auburn. So a lot of the stuff that we did offensively and defensively, we kind of built together. So, as far as what we're doing on the floor, it's going to look a lot the same. I think our personalities are different. Every time he would come on this show, it would end up being some sort of viral clip, and you're not going to get that out of me as much as Coach was going to give you. So part of that is because I want to keep this job, and he really just didn't care. So his give a was way lower than mine.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we got a lot of similarities basketball wise. I think our personalities are a little bit different. I'm a little more analytically driven in how I make decisions, and he's a little more old school, and he's more just off the cuff and off the feel, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny. People expect you're going to change things. Wait a second here. You were part of implementing those things, and right. Why are we changing things? It seems like it worked pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'd be stupid if I changed things just for the sake of changing things to make people, look at me and say, "Oh, he does that differently." I'd probably schedule a little easier than what BP left for me. The schedule that he left for me was a little, ambitious. So I may play one less of the, of those games, but. No, I mean, we like you said, Dan, like we did this together over the last 11 years. We've built this thing together over the last 11 years. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to do is going to stick.
How do you go about well, maybe this is very easy, but how do you go about the balance of, hey, man, I'm the coach, but my dad's right here, one of the greatest coaches of all time, and I can use him as a sounding board. How has that balance been?
It's been good. I think the one thing that he misses the most is practice. And he doesn't miss the games. He doesn't miss, all the things that you have to do outside of basketball. He misses the development and the learning and the teaching part of things, which I think, was kind of surprising for him. So he's not around a ton, but, when he's not working in studio, if he's not traveling, he'll pop his head in and kind of see what we're doing. And, for me, like, it would just be unwise if I didn't use that resource as something that, to my benefit, because I'm going through things right now every single day that are different and are new. And, I'm really fortunate that I have a collection of head coaches throughout the country that I can call and ask, BP obviously being one of them. Todd Golden at Florida is a guy that I call pretty routinely. Jake Diebler at Ohio State. Like there's just a bunch of different guys that, have been so generous and gracious with their time that can be a sounding board for me as I'm kind of going through this. But yeah, I mean, the balance has been good. He's not around a ton, but when he's around, I'm going to use him because it wouldn't make a lot of sense if I didn't.
What was the biggest misconception when you were named the coach? I saw some people whining. What did you think, or did you even pay attention to it?
No, I mean, I try not to pay attention to it. But, it's honestly, Dan, like all that stuff, while you know me better than everyone else and you kind of know my journey and, you know my story, like I get why people say the things that they did. I get that people may look at this and say this is a nepotism hire. I get why people may say that, I haven't earned my marks and all these things. But like, at the end of the day, like I just got to be secure in the fact that, I've busted my ass my entire career, whether it be being a walk-on at Tennessee or, starting as an assistant strength coach here at Auburn and kind of working my way up through operations and assistant coaching and defensive coordinator, associate head coach. So I've seen all the different levels of this program and what it's taken to be successful. So I just got to be comfortable in my own skin that I know I've put the work in. I know I'm deserving, but I know the staff is deserving. I think that's the biggest thing that people don't talk about enough is I think one of the biggest reasons why this thing got put together is because we have like 4 or 5 guys on our staff that have been here for 8+ years. And that made John's decision a lot easier. So, you hear the outside noise, you see the outside noise, but at the end of the day, you just got to stay consistent in what you're doing day in and day out and know that work has gotten me to a place where I'm at today. And I just got to continue to put that in to deliver results.
Yeah, my answer is people ask me, well, what did you think about Stephen Pearl? I said, okay, what's the perfect way to go about being a head coach? You tell me. I would think the perfect way of being a head coach is you take an assistant from the current staff of a program that's been unbelievably successful, as opposed to taking a chance. I want to go back to scheduling. Let's go through this, man. Houston, you've already played. Oregon, you've already played. Michigan, you've already played. St. John's, you've already played. Arizona, you've already played. What was wrong with your father? Did he have like did he have like a cyst on the brain or something? Purdue coming up. What was wrong with your father doing this? What's he doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, and then you add NC State in there as well, and so it's just You look at last year, and we scheduled pretty aggressively last year, and it really paid off for us. But we also had 8 seniors on that team, But I think you look throughout the country, and you look at different case studies of teams that have played this type of schedule. And one, if it doesn't kill your confidence, that's the biggest thing you got to, kind of be concerned about is if, you get beat up too much and if you're not able to beat Oregon and St. John's and NC State, it could really mess with the team's, chemistry and confidence. But we've been fortunate enough to win those games, which has allowed our guys to, have more buy-in because they see that it's worked. But once you get to conference play, Dan, like we're not going to play while the SEC is good. It's not as good as it was last year. Like we're not going to play in a tougher environment than we did at Arizona against a better team than we did in Arizona. We're not going to play against a better team than we did in Michigan in a neutral site than we did out in Las Vegas. You know what I mean? So we're going to be battle tested. Our guys, knew coming into being recruited by us that this was the schedule that we were going to play. So they were prepared for it. This is what they signed up for. And I think and it also will help your NCAA tournament seeding. Obviously, it doesn't hurt to lose those games. It would help to win 1 or 2 of them, and we've been able to do that. But it's going to help you be tested and ready for conference play. But then 2, ultimately, it'll help your seeding at the end of the year to put you in a better position to advance the NCAA tournament.
You mentioned Michigan. Dang it, Dusty's coming on our show tomorrow. How good is Michigan? They just beat everybody. I mean, damn. I mean,
we've watched a lot of basketball this year. Like Michigan and Arizona, I think are ahead and heel. I mean, they're a step up from the rest of the competition. And I think when you get out there, Dan, like their positional size at every position is just like damn. Like they're big at every spot. They can all defend. Michigan does a lot of switching 1 through 4, which makes them really, really unique. They do a great job of guarding without fouling at the rim. But I think the biggest separator in those 2 games and why the margin of victory got to where it was is they were making shots. Michigan made 16 threes against us.
Yeah.
Their bench made 9 threes in that game. They had made 9 threes in the previous 5 games combined. So when you're just not going to be – and then we missed 15 free throws. So – and then, Arizona, they made a bunch of shots. So it's like if those 2 teams can make shots and defend at the level that they do, like those are 2 teams that are going to be playing in the Final Four, no doubt about it. And they they remind me a lot of our team last year with the elite size that we had, but then the ability also to make shots. They can really wear you out, through a 40-minute game. And Michigan's really shown the ability to do that over the last, 6 games.
Hey, a friend of mine that's coaching asked me, I said I was having you on today, and he asked me to ask you, and how much, you mentioned NIL earlier today, and you mentioned fundraising earlier today. How much of that, I had to do 5 fundraisers at Bowling Green, but it wasn't to pay players. It was the fun summer school. We did them year round, all these 5 different things. Can you walk me through at Auburn what fundraising means? What does that mean exactly? Like, I did raffles, golf outings, what does fundraising mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things that schools are doing now in the NIL space. And, one of the things, an example would be like events. So, we just had a concert at Neville Arena not too long ago. And, some of the proceeds from that went to NIL. So part of my job was to kind of help bring in people and, sell experiences that people would enjoy and could give back to, men's basketball's NIL space. And there's just so many different things right now that different programs and universities are doing that are outside of just, writing a check to, NIL. Right. They're trying to provide something that comes along with it. So it's just trying to find unique, innovative things that, people can feel like it's, because it is transactional, but trying to make it feel like it's less transactional, and they're getting something for it as opposed to just hoping and praying that their team wins games. So things like that, just trying to find new innovative ideas. And we're so fortunate here at Auburn that we got a team of people that are just constantly coming up with different ideas. But, it's not something that's required. But I think, if we're going to sit here, Dan, and I'm going to ask Auburn to be able to support me and my program to a tune of however many millions of dollars that is, I'm going to bust my ass to help them in every facet of that. And it's not just going to be them going out there raising the money. I got to do it myself too.
Hey, I don't know. I ask every coach that I talk to this. Have you seen John Calipari's plan at Arkansas to ensure boosters in the NIL space? Have you seen any of that? And if you have, what do you think?
Yeah, he's talked about it on a few head coaches meetings, and I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. I mean, it gives, I think, these people that are investing so much of their resources, I think a little bit of a peace of mind that, if something, God forbid, were to happen to these student athletes, there's some protection there. So, Cal's that's something that he's been very passionate about, and I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's just something that we're continuously having to do. To try and give the people that have been so generous with their resources some assurances as far as, where their money's going.
Do you want to make any statements about the state of Israel or President Obama or anything like your dad does? You want to do any of that, or are we good?
We're good, man. We can just, in 10 years, Dan, if I'm still in this job, maybe we can have those conversations. Yeah. But until then, let's just talk about hoops.
Yeah. Hey, Steven, I appreciate you, man. Good luck. Rooting like hell for. I text your dad after every win. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. Hey, congrats on the job. Thanks for coming on, and good luck as you navigate this schedule, man. God, your dad must have been crazy. He must have. What's wrong with him? Anyway, appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Coach.
There he goes. Stephen Pearl, the head coach at Auburn. They have a great schedule. I mean, unbelievable. And you know what? Good for them. But I think Auburn did it absolutely right. You got the best candidate for that job in the building, and you did it right. You didn't look at some assistant coach somewhere. No. You had the best assistant coach in the country in your building right there. And add to it the best assistant coach for that job in your building. So there you go. Good for Auburn, good for Stephen Pearl, and, of course, good for his dad, because it's got to be nothing more prideful than sitting there watching your son have success. There's nothing better in the world. I will be right back. Davey, last week you made me cringe and look away because some of the things looked really, really painful. Here it is, What the Hell Wednesday.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
Wait,
okay,
what?
So go in and
no
tell.
No way.
Yeah, somebody's going to go in and tell somebody.
I have to go tell her.
She's doing her whole car.
She's even touching it with her hands. She's going to be so smelly.
This is nuts. Someone tells... I can't believe she's doing this.
Surely an attendant is going to come out and see what she's doing.
Well,
also, think about how much money she's spending.
Because she's running right now.
This is
a lot of money.
This is the most expensive car wash ever.
Gosh.
Wait. Actually, guys, for real, does gas help you clean a car better?
Well, I've used gas to
Wow. How about you two dumbasses go out there and help her? How about that?
That's what I'm saying.
Honest to God.
Put a stop
How about
to
it, Davey?
You got to put a stop to it. Step outside, say something. I mean, it's one thing if, she's struggling to park the car because you can't get the gas pump on the correct side of the vehicle. But, I mean, literally just dousing the entire car in gas. Throw a match out there while we're at it.
Davey, I mean, what? Yeah, throw a match. What? How would you feel if if she took off and the car exploded and you two dipshits that are sitting there, oh my God, and didn't do anything about it? Maybe Catholic guilt's got me by the balls. I don't know. But how could you possibly sit there and watch this and go, oh my God, look, oh my God, it's expensive, and not help her? There'll be an attendant. What? What's wrong with people?
I don't have an answer for you on that one, Dan. But I still, at the same time, we can't have this woman and just and remove her from the situation of how you even think this is a good idea or this is what gas is for.
Right. Maybe she saw ethanol. I don't know.
These
Next,
that's weird.
That's one of the weirdest. They do live among us. Yeah, they do. They're walking around. My wife says we have zombies among us. Well, there's one. That's amazing. Next. What an idiot. Nice finish there. High hands.
You got it, Jake. You got it, Jake.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
It's apparently a game called Eat the Bag, Dan.
What's that?
He's trying to get the bag with his mouth, but he's obviously putting all that pressure on his leg, and he basically snaps his femur.
So you eat the bag, you get the bag with your mouth. Do you know this game?
Well, I looked it up after seeing this video because on the captions at the beginning, it's like they're saying they play Eat the Bag at Thanksgiving, which I'd never played that game before, but I guess it's like an alternative to Limbo, see how low you can get. But this one obviously ended with a trip to the hospital.
What'd you say? He snapped his femur?
Yep.
Next. God dang. Oh, this ain't good. Oh, my God. Davey. Davey. What the hell? People, you talk about people living among us, zombies. That thing didn't start, at least according to the video, right?
As far as I know, that thing never started, Dan, which, count your blessings. That's all I can say on that one.
Wow. Could you imagine? You think he did that? You think he did that knowing it wasn't going to start, but trying to get, a video that people pay attention to?
I doubt it. It's one of those things. It's like even playing roulette. Even if you know it's likely not going to happen, you just don't take the chance.
Right. Not on the package. Not on the damn package. Not anywhere, but not on the package. Please, God, not on the package. I went out with a chainsaw New Year's Eve after having a few beers and chopped 2 trees that fell on my balcony. And that ain't smart, but putting the saw on your pee-pee ain't good. Next! I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that, Davey. That I am not doing that.
Yeah.
Period.
I don't know what the Pakistani version of OSHA is, but somebody needs to get a call. It's crazy when you think about the amount of situations like this in just other countries where it's like people are probably dying every day doing something this dumb. But do you know how many people died trying to build the Empire State Building?
The bunch, like 1,000, right?
No, it was actually, that's what was so surprising. I looked it up after I saw this, just because I was like, I was curious, what are some of the deadliest construction projects? There was only 5 people that died building the Empire State Building. Yeah. The deadliest.
I thought a bunch did.
Yeah, the deadliest construction of, I guess you would say, like post-industrial revolution was the Panama Canal. That had like 42% of the workforce die. We're talking like 30,000 people, but that was mainly due to disease such as like malaria and yellow fever.
Next! What the hell, man? Jeez. Oh, jeez. Gotta remember.
Just give him some air. Just fan him a little bit.
Yeah, that's all. I was looking at that. Yeah. Everybody back. Give him some air. Look at this guy getting thrown. I mean, that is the very definition of a rag doll. The definition. Hey, man, that waves threw me around like a rag doll. Yeah, well, this is a freaking rag doll. Holy hell. Next. Jesus.
That's 5.
Davey, great stuff. Hey, let's woke-a-dope, shall we? Can we woke-a-dope right now? Let's do it. Woke-a-dope. Hey, ba-da-boom. Anti-fascist, refugee, peaceful protest. It's unbelievable. That white thing on the bottom, fishing boat, not retarded, freedom fighter, liberate. Look at that. Wow. The gaslighting never stops, does it? I mean, that is awesome right there. If that doesn't describe what the hell's going on with the Democratic Party in this country, I have no idea what to tell you. Wow. Holy hell. Next. God dang. Grossly A, arrogant, V, vile, I, incompetent, and narcissist. Strong, solid. I would go Gavin D. Newsom, douchebag. It's not D in the middle. That guy, although I must say, can I say something? Donald Trump has reached the George W. Bush, Joe Biden, Barack Obama. I can't watch his speeches anymore. Hey, Davey, real quick. That speech, that rambling-ass speech last night was ridiculous. I watched some of it. I left. I turned the game on. I came back. I left. I came back. I mean, it was the most ridiculous speech I've ever seen. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. All right. Give me your thoughts.
I'll be honest with you, Dan. I have not watched it. There was some great college basketball on. Is this one of those things where you're like, hey, you're better off just catching the cliff notes?
Yes.
Okay.
Davey, I'm like, I was packing. My wife is driving. We packed up a car, and I had a speech on. I'm watching. I sat down. I started watching. And I don't even know what to say. It was, get to the point. Tell us what. Don't do 10 minutes of stand-up and having private conversations on stage with your buddies. That was ridiculous. Next. It was idiot. Don't do it. Just check the highlights, Davey. Swear to God. It's unbelievable. Next. F America Viva. Okay, buddy, back. Oh, I don't want to go. That's the shit right there that bothers me. Oh, America sucks. Well, we want to stay. What? Why? Well, are you staying because America doesn't suck, or are you staying? There's only two things. Are you staying because America doesn't suck, or are you staying because you're trying to bring down America? Either way, get your ass out of the country if you're causing trouble. Look, if people are here and they're working, I got leniency there. I'm not going and grabbing them. But if you're a criminal or if you're protesting America, get your ass out of the country. And I've always wondered, why do people, if America is so goddamn awful, why do people risk their lives to get here? You know the answer. We all know the answer. The answer's simple. Next. I think that's it. I think that's it. Last thing. You know, here's the deal. Davey just said it, and Davey couldn't be more right. There's some great college hoops going on. You know, the Garden last night was jumping. Unbelievable end of the game with BYU taking down Clemson. You know, our guy Nick was all over UConn. Hey, I get it, but there's something missing with college basketball. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the personalities. I don't know if the transient nature. I don't know if there's no announcers like Dick Vitale was back in the day. I don't know if there's any stars that we truly believe in and know, but there just feels like something is missing. There have been fantastic games. There have, every night. I don't like it. I don't like it. I want college basketball to be must-see. Even Indiana yesterday, winning by 40 against Penn State, no one was there. I don't like it. I'm going to figure it out and get back to you. Thanks for watching.